life now. We don't join, we sit down. Put a lot of them together. Let no pillow. Put the pillow somewhere else.
Like this.
Mm-hmm.
Not looking weird.
I'm waiting for our people. So yeah. Um Welcome to live chat. And this is the for us long awaited long awaited event, you know.
Event.
So it's an event. Well, I used to call it event for people. So
Is it live already?
yeah, we are live. Alright, so guys, welcome. I can see I don't know the person yet, but I see that somebody has joined first. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
And we are starting like right away. So what brought the idea of this whole live session was that, you know, we saw like, the whole lot. We've been seeing some things going on, and we think sometimes when young folks advise young folks, it kind of you know makes sense to one another. Sometimes when another is advising you, we say, maybe they don't really understand what I'm going through, you know, their time has passed, they are old, blah blah blah. Anyways, now we are guys and we are talking to each other. So welcome, and this is our experience as regards cheating in marriage. Some people know us and they will want to cheating in marriage. Really? I mean, but don't worry, just calm down before you start giving explanations yourself. So you just go straight into it. You know, others will join, and if they don't, they will see the live video. They can always watch it. That is why it's live. I can see another person just joining. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for
Thanks for joining. At least about 7 people just joined right now. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you everyone for joining. And so I'll start with my own experience. Story. Anyway, so we were at a place some time ago, right? And then, you know, we just got married and all that. And I just discovered that I was beginning to like a lady that is not my wife. Well, I already told her, so you people don't be looking at me as bad boy.
Yeah.
So I was beginning to like a lady that is not my wife. You know, before marriage, I thought, marriage is to check the life of adultery and all that. So when I marry, my eyes are closed. Christian brother, pastor. Well, it happened. I just thought I was having some ungodly affection towards her, and I mean, it was shocking and surprising. Anyways, I didn't really pay attention to it. But when it got to a level where I began to kind of search for this lady online, that's when I knew that now something is up. So thank God for spiritual knowledge. So immediately I swung into action. I prayed, you know, studied the word and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. And then bam, God helped me gradually to get it out of my mind. And you know, that made me realize that okay, it's not about you are a prayer warrior, you pray 120 hours. It's good, actually, that will work. But it's not about you're a Christian brother, that you just love the Lord, you know. I don't even like people that do those kind of things. You might not like the acts, you might not like those that, you know, practice it. But I'm saying you can do it. You can fall into the trap yourself. So before we go further, she will share her story, and then we'll just share the lessons we learned from the story, and then the life is over. It's going to be quick. So share yours.
Okay, so mine was kind of different from his. So I think so. It happened at the same time, whereby yeah, okay. I think yours happened earlier than
As my own was ending,
yes. So
yours started.
I also believe that when you get married, you would obviously not see anybody spouse. So, but I learned from that experience that it can happen to anybody, whether you're a prayer warrior, whatever you have, like even a believer. So it's very important to guard our hearts and just stay consistent in place of prayer. So mine was actually more like I'm a very simple person and free person and friendly. So it happened at a point in time, at a place to whereby I I I was just being free, being nice, and that niceness I didn't know the devil was using it as something like the person had an intention, and suddenly I realized I was thinking about the person and you know thoughts and all that, but I thank God that I searched online for the person as well.
I was about to remind her
Yes,
that you
yes,
you give
I
us
searched
idea.
I searched online too as well. But later I knew that this desire was not right. It was
Yeah,
not something I was
not
supposed to
godly.
be. And you know, I told my husband about it and we prayed. And at that point in time I realized that I didn't even know he had gone through something like that because he didn't tell me. So it was until I experienced this, we both knew it happened to us like similar times. So and we prayed about it and you know we were able to overcome. I was able to overcome that
Yeah.
that's why I know that all those emotions they are not godly. It's just our desires and the devil just wants to use it against us. That's why we have to stay consistent in God's presence in the place of prayer.
You know, the funny thing about this was that when ours was happening, because I kind of already overcame mine and all, I was sensing that something was going on.
Mm.
So by the time she would tell me, I just give her the name of the person immediately. I just give her the name of the person, and this is the person. And she was like, okay, how did I know something? Well, I've been sensing it, and then I was right. So, for me, one of the lessons I learned from that situation was that number one, God, let him that thinks he stands
Stand, let me
take it less you fall. You can fall.
Mm-hmm.
First, accept that fact that you can fall. Okay, so let's agree together now. You you can fall.
Yes, yes.
Because
Everybody can
sometimes
fall.
all these Christian, I don't know, we are Christians of course, but I mean all these some people are so holier than thou that they believe me. No, I can never fall.
No, I
Okay.
believe that was also what I believe that it can't happen to me. Like I'm married, I only have eyes for my spouse.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is that that's why we just have to constantly stay in the place of prayer so that God can show us when our desires are we are having wrong desires. Yes.
Because even the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence. So
Mm-hmm.
guarding your heart means that don't just relax.
Yeah.
Be conscious about guarding it. So don't just think, well, I can't fall. I say you can fall. So
Yes.
that's the first thing I learned, that you can actually fall. You get. And so my second lesson was that the devil takes every chance he gets. You know, during those seasons, I was very busy, so I could not really pray well. You know, I was not consistent. It's not as if I was not praying, but the prayer was not enough. There's something like prayer not being enough. Sure, you get. So it was not enough. So the devil saw that space, and he entered. And then also he used my desires, because there's the kind of lady that I like, kind of complexion, and that's what the devil used for me. So that's why just guard the desires of your heart, because the devil can use them. You get. So that's part of what I learned in that experience. I will let her share some before I share my own again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, the lesson I learned first is that, like I've been saying, just stay consistent in God's presence in your devotion to God is very important because once you are out of that place of constant devotion and prayers,
Mm.
you realize that your desires are no longer God's kind of desires. You start
Mm.
having some. That's when lust comes in. That's
Mhm.
when some desires that you shouldn't have
Mhm.
come in. So it's very important to just stay consistent in God's presence and.
Because as at then, how we came out of it, my own, I came out through prayer, like I said, prayer and then structures, like boundaries.
Yeah.
And she too, she came out through prayers and boundaries because then God led me to because of prayer point. Not was it prayer point? I don't even know. Sure, there was just instructions and then she followed. She
Mm-hmm.
prayed 3 days. Oh, it's not a joke. 3 days prayer and fasting to get somebody out of her mind. Me too. I prayed. So it's not it's just gonna go away. It's not going to go. It won't it won't go anywhere. It's not gonna go away. You have to, push it away yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself. That's what I learned. That you have to be deliberate about pushing it away.
Yeah.
Do you get? So that's one of the things I learned, and back to you.
Yeah. So staying constant in the place of prayer and also in our places of work, in our day-to-day relationship with people,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, I can be carefree, like just meet someone, hello, nice to meet you, all those things. The devil can use it against us. That's why I just have to be sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not everybody you have to be friendly with. It's even if you're married, you're single, you don't have to be very friendly with everybody. And sometimes one just has to maintain boundaries. Like you don't need to know what's going on in everyone's life. You can just be nice and just be talking to a person and be like, how is life? Or just those normal gisting.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes not everybody needs to have that with. Sometimes you just need to it just has to be simple good morning.
Yeah.
That's it. No need for okay. So how is life? How is this thing? Devil can use all those things and before you know it,
Mm-hmm.
desires are not meant to be start coming. So
Because truth be told,
that's one thing.
desires rise based on communication. So the more you
Yes.
communicate to somebody. So for me, I don't easily she finds it easier to communicate to hi, how are you, this and that. I don't know how to do that those things. So my own didn't come through communication, it came through sight. Sight and desire
Mm-hmm.
that was being lured. So so that reminds me of one of my mentors, a female. She said when any guy, she's married, well, I mean with children. So when anybody is chatting her up and at an ungodly time or trying to say some things you don't understand, she said her hand is always on the block button. Small time you just block the person.
Very
Some people will say,
important.
can't she just communicate with people because she's married, so she cannot talk to a man, blah blah blah. Oga, it's not your marriage. Everybody have the way the the kind of boundaries that can help them because they know themselves. So you know yourself. Okay, so
Set
you should have your
boundaries.
kind of boundary. So if blocking the person is easy for her, please. So do what works for you, and nothing is too extreme. Like nothing is too extreme for you to do in order to keep your marriage. You can't say this one is too extreme, that one is no, it's not too extreme. And especially for those who are about to marry, it's good you learn this now.
Yeah.
That first I can fall. You get it? And number two, nothing is too extreme for me to keep my marriage. Once God was involved in that marriage from the start,
Yeah.
I mean, He will help you. Because the marriage that He was not involved, okay, you seek His face gone. You seek His face gone. So that's another thing I learned from that. All right. Any other thing you can remember?
Okay. I also learned that it's very important that despite our busy schedule, like because I remember at that time, yeah,
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
always like
Busy. We barely
we
had
barely had
family
time
time and all
to,
that.
and even when we are together, it's always about work,
Just busy.
Those were the discussions. Like we didn't really communicate.
Yeah.
So that was the gap the devil was just using to. So it's very important that there's that constant communication despite the busy schedule. There should just be a plan on maybe you take time.
It's important that you guys pray together.
Yeah.
See, a couple that prays together stays together. That's a certified, verified fact. But also, a couple that plays together stays together.
Yeah.
You must be friends, have fun together. You must. I mean, don't fight anything that wants to block your communication, or that want to make you have some like stereotypic communication. Like it's all about work, business, nothing about each other, nothing about family, nothing about you guys should just make sure that the more you pray, also play together, become friends. Me and my wife, we play a lot because I can play.
And he sometimes can play too much.
But it's those things gives memories.
Yeah.
It gives memories. Like you can sit down and think about this person, and you're not only remembering my work, my business, I remember the times you laughed together, you watched movies together, you played, you just do funny things and all that together. So that time the communication was actually, being divided gradually based on what we're doing then, and then we saw that was also the reason. So the more you communicate with your husband, your wife, the closer you should get, all things being equal. Alright, so that too is very important.
Yes, also I talked about the fact that staying in the place of prayer, then the part of praying together constantly as couples, yes, it helps the bond. One thing I've realized in our 1 year of marriage is that it's very important that there's that family altar where you and your spouse pray together, because the days we don't pray together, let's say we've been so busy, I notice the devil just
we get vulnerable
to
emotional, we just get angry or tired or
what actually bonds a marriage is just God. Because he's the third.
God is love.
God is love. So God is he's the third person that is joining it together. So when God is not in the picture, things will fall apart.
That reminds me of something that happened, was it a few weeks ago or a few days ago? That for like 2 days my wife was just there. And it was getting to me, I was like, welcome to Nigeria, that's way. And it was getting to me that, why is she just there now? What was going on? I was trying to be joyful, but later, it will get to you, except you don't love the person.
Yeah.
Our emotions will affect me. Mine will affect us. That's how it just, we can't stop that. So, but the first thing that God told me was that, when last have you had your devotion? I was like, I see where you're going. And then that day I said, babe, let's have devotion. And guess what? Before the devotion ended, everything was sorted right there.
I myself, I didn't know that there were issues that were high.
Right there. I was noticing, but she didn't even know. So probably she would just have continued like that. And then right there, the devotion, we sorted it, and it was so beautiful. I was like, oh wow, this is nice. So because we didn't have devotion, simple, because it didn't. So you see, it's very important. Family devotion. Apart from I pray on my own, she prays on her own. Devotion is important. That's family.
It is compulsory.
Yeah, you're coming together as a family.
Even if you might have the time constantly, like let's say every day, but at least maybe even if it just find time.
Just make time available.
Twice.
If you have to wake up early or something.
Yes.
It's more than twice, so you guys go. When we first started, it was not twice. Now it's not even twice. It's just sometimes when some things happen, maybe somebody is sick or something.
Yes.
It shouldn't be something
the
debatable.
Family devotion should be like every day.
Because God knows you as an individual, He knows you as an individual, but you have to come to Him as a family too. You get that also helps to overcome this kind of cheating thing and all that. So, like I said, first thing, you can cheat. Agree. Don't say because I'm spiritual.
You're not that strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you are strong, why will God say that by your strength you can do nothing?
Yes.
So that scripture is over everything. By your strength you can literally do nothing. If you don't, I mean, that's just what it is, right? So just hold on to God's strength in prayers and study together. Study together. When you study together, it also helps you guys. It helps you guys. And for people that are not married, let me give you a hack. See, I know that the major reason for marriage is Christ. That's what the scripture shows us. Marriage is an explanation of the love between Christ and the church, simply. So when they see marriage, you should understand how Christ loves the church.
Yeah.
So that's the basics. But marriage is also, other small things. Check the life of sin, companionship, and all that. So all purpose. So basically we know. But there's a carnal part of marriage you cannot overlook. Okay? God is not a killer of joy. Don't marry somebody you don't like.
You're not attracted to.
See, there are very, very slight chances of exceptional cases. Very slight chance that God will tell you marry this person. Because he has to make something happen, So there are those exceptional cases. But it doesn't come often. Okay? When God brought Eve to Adam, I mean, the guy who said, wow.
Said, yes.
Abi?
Yes. He said, yes. This is good.
I said it's good.
Yes.
So, when you now see your own spouse, you are saying, yeah, oh God, is this my cross? God, make sure you are attracted to the person. Make sure you are attracted to the person. Because that thing will help you. Because during those times, at least slightly, it will help you. Apart from prayer being the major thing that will help you. But during those times when I was still struggling with it, I tried to remember my wife. And I was like, yes, my wife has everything I need. She's the kind of person I want. So in my head, I was like, why am I thinking of this thing in the first place? So that led me to go and pray that up. But what if you now remember your wife or your husband? And you're like, oh my God, I just settled for this person. You will struggle even to go to the place of prayer sometimes. You get. So marry the person that you are attracted to. It can be developed. Marry the person. Don't just say God has said. Okay, when we wanted to marry, the people that I said God said, I did not later marry them. Because you can't trust that God said after you already have feelings for the person. You now say God said. God has not said anything. Before you can hear God clearly in marriage, is maybe when you have not had feelings for that person at all. You don't even notice the person. Maybe. And don't say true dreams, because dreams can be manipulated. But if you already have feelings for the person, you will be hearing your voice and you'll be saying God said. So you need confirmations from trusted people, and you need to check a lot of things. You will know when it's right.
Yeah.
She too. She did not
I
have
want to add to your point of attraction. Yeah. About attraction, it's important to marry someone you like, yes. I accept that part. But at the same time, like, there are times that, because when we both met, it wasn't like we were both attracted like 100% to each other. There were things that maybe you were not totally satisfied with. So attraction is very important in marriage, but sometimes attraction builds up. It builds up over time in marriage and all. So it's important to because I don't want people to think that it all has to be that you have a spec, has to be tall, that.
That's why I first spoke about the important, like the first thing first, our purpose. Their priorities. That's why before I said attraction, I spoke about that the major reason for marriage is purpose. Yes. You get. So attraction, like I said it will help
Yes, it is very important.
It's important, but you can't really hold the marriage.
Hold it, yes.
Because there will be time when the attraction will die. To perish.
There will be time when there will be no attraction.
That's what I'm saying, to perish. You people gonna say, what's going on, baby?
Like all those butterflies in your belly.
They will die. Father will burn them.
Marriage actually tests it is in marriage you know what is love. You can't
Yeah, I mean,
love
your love is
outside
tested.
in relationship. Is easy
This
to
one that
say.
we are saying is the test of love.
It's
If we do
easy
not love
to-
each other, we will not struggle to say we are praying, we must get ourselves back.
Yeah, it is easy to say you love someone when you guys are not married. Yeah, but when you're
Mm.
married, that's
Marry
when
first.
you
Marry
that's
first.
when you realize that God is actually the one that brings that bond.
Yeah, so.
Because at the point where now so we
There are
don't
times
marry.
that it's not as if anybody else was on mind, but we're just tired.
Yes, you're just there.
I mean, I don't know. I don't be looking at that. There are days we'll be silent in the house.
Yes.
We'll just
like,
be looking, nothing to talk again.
And when we were in,
Before
we
marriage,
got
we can talk from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. or 4 a.m.
Yes, yes. And you wonder
What's going
what's
on?
going on?
In marriage, just be looking. So that's why I'm saying what we hold you in marriage must be beyond
Yes.
physical things, conversation.
Yes.
Conversation is very good, but I'm saying what will first keep you, the major bedrock, is God. God is love. Simple. So the more you guys get close to God, God can bring. See, it was during those moments of temptations that we had that we introduced some confessions into our devotions.
Yeah.
We introduced it. We began to say to each other that I forgot.
Isaiah, my husband.
I have eyes for my
yes, I have eyes
wife
for my
only.
my
I did see my wife and I
Isaiah,
have eyes for
my
my
husband.
confessions like that.
Yes, they work.
They work though.
They work.
When we said I desire my wife, I did see my wife and I desire my wife. I have affection for my wife. Stuff like that.
I just believe that God is just the bond, because
Really.
when you get to that point where you're tired of your spouse, just go
That's
to
when you
God
will know that it's
and
God.
you just see that God fuels
Yeah. This thing has people.
and I feel like
us.
what the devil brings is that when, at that point where you're tired of your spouse,
That's when he will show you somebody else.
showing you someone
It's
else.
a lie, it's a lie. You just want
He'll
to
be
take
making
chance
you,
of
he'll
that
be showing you things your husband does not have, things your wife does not have, showing
Now
you
be
that
saying, maybe she's not even.
she's not.
Why did I even? do
Why
this?
I would have waited out.
Or that. If you marry somebody else, you still have your troubles.
Yes.
That one is
Same-
constant K.
same thing.
Constant K. So I mean, plan it if you are not married. Confessions for attraction.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm telling you, it works till now because I just discovered that then I just started, looking at my wife and she just started looking different. Before I was tired of her, but now I don't know where it came from. I don't know. I could not just have enough of her. I was like, it's okay.
That's what God can do.
It just came.
God is
Because
not
we
just
said it. So those things, don't say confession is only for spirituality. This one is spiritual. Because your mind can affect your spiritual life a whole lot. So
I think my advice for single people is that because we've been relating it, okay, I think we related it more. For those that are not yet married, is that just commit all. The Bible says that trust in the Lord with all your heart, and you should not lean on your own understanding. So when picking your spouse or the person you want to marry,
exactly.
please do not lean on your own understanding, because your understanding is obviously compared to God is you can't.
It's far. It's far.
because
Oh.
you might be looking at this is what I want. Your eyes, you don't have foresight. You're not seeing beyond. You're not seeing. God is looking at the end from the beginning. You are looking at the beginning. So you cannot choose based on your own understanding. You just have to lean on God and say, God, I trust in you.
And one thing I've learned
And
is
yeah, just
continue first. But that just came to my mind.
so
You can't be over prepared for marriage. You can't say, I'm prepared for marriage. I mean, nothing special will come that I can't take. That's confession. It's good. But I'm saying marriage comes with its own baggage. There's something that will come that will shock you. Some life experiences you don't remember. And this you don't remember them. No, we're not going to share it in this life. We'll share it for you in another live session. That thing you remembered. If you guys will hear it.
But those ones again, we are not going to share it in our. This is just our little.
This
our
is
little.
maybe
But
you you've read.
You've read.
How many prayer points?
There are
Those seems to be help.
Yes, yes.
But there are some things that are designed for your marriage and they are not in the book.
It's like I
Some troubles for your marriage.
We're talking to, should I say our brother, like our brother-in-law. He said, I'm sure you guys never expected something like that. So in marriage,
A lot of people do not expect.
so when you are single, even as you are praying, just single, God will just think that test of love.
That's why you must understand the reason for marriage and marry with God. So that those, even if you've read, you've prayed and all that, when those specialized bespoke troubles come, God can show you the way out.
I'm telling you, you know. Amazing experiences, and
you will never imagine your life that it happened to you. You say more.
You sit down and think and say,
how did I get
I
here?
never expected it. Like, why?
It happens.
But the thing is, God is always with us in storm.
That's why you must marry with God.
You must marry with God and just let God choose your path for you. Don't choose his eye with your sight. Oh my God. Just be like.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's right.
Yeah.
If you have any other thing, we do another video, inform you guys. And if you are watching this video after now, please subscribe to this channel, like the video. That encourages us to do more videos actually. So when we see that you guys are subscribing and liking the video, I can see that, oh, this is working, we thank God that God is spreading it. Alright, so we'll see you guys some other time.
Yes.
Enjoy yourself.
Thanks.
And please marry
Yes.
right. Marry with God.
Marry with God. Alright, we love you guys. Thanks for joining.
Bye bye. See you.
Bye.